Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sankrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Yanachana Shalagya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supuragam Guraganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govindabhidam Ujjalam Varatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavat Premnoi Bija Pradam. Devam Divyatanam Suchandabaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Zubhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Mandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Manshakopatarubyasya Kripasindu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila chapter 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Verse number 1. Nomitam Gorachandramya Kutarka Karkashashayam Sarvabhaumam Sarvabhauma Bhakti Bhumanam Acharat. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Gaurachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who converted the hard-hearted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the reservoir of all bad logic, into a great devotee. Jaya Jaya Gaurachandra, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Dandavat Maharaj. Abheshi Chalila Prabhu Jagannatha Mandire Jagannath Deki Preme Hoila Astire. In ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went from Ataranala to the temple of Jagannath. After seeing Lord Jagannath, he became very restless due to love of Godhead. So at the end of the previous chapter, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he broke Mahaprabhu's danda, and when Mahaprabhu asked it for it back, Nityananda Prabhu said, you were dancing in ecstasy and you fell on the danda. Both you, I tried to sustain you, but both you and myself fell on the danda and it broke into 3 pieces. Where it is now, I don't know. But actually, Nityananda Prabhu himself had broken the danda and thrown it into the river. So, Mahaprabhu was annoyed with that his danda was lost. So he said, I will, the remaining distance to the Jagannath Puri, either I will go first or I will go after you, but I will not go with all the devotees. He was so the devotees said, then you go first. So now Mahaprabhu has arrived first, and he's alone in the Jagannath temple, and he's restless due to love of Godhead. Jagannatha lingite chalila daya mandire parila preme avishtahoya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went swiftly to embrace Lord Jagannath, but when he entered the temple, he was so overwhelmed with love of Godhead that he fainted to the floor. Daive Sarvabhauma Tahake Kore Darshan Paricha Marite Teho Koilan Nibaran. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya happened to see him. When the watchman threatened to beat the Lord, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately forbade him. Prabhura Sundaryara Premara Bikar Jeki Sarvabhauma Hoila Vishmita Apar. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very surprised to see the personal beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as well as the transcendental transformations wrought on his body due to love of Godhead. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is a very advanced logician, and he can recognize Mahaprabhu's divine symptoms. He's surprised to see Mahaprabhu's beauty. Mahaprabhu is young. He took sannyas when he's 24 years old. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sees the Lord's beauty and also can see that Mahaprabhu has fainted due to symptoms of love of Godhead, of ecstatic symptoms. Bahukane Chaitanya nahe bogera kala hoila Sarvabhauma mane tabe upaya chintila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained unconscious for a long time. Meanwhile, the time for offering prasadam to Lord Jagannath came, and the Bhattacharya tried to think of a remedy. Sishya Padidya Dwara Prabhu Nila Bahaya Garyani Pabitrastani Rakilas Shoyana. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, with the help of the watchman and some disciples, carried him to his home and laid him down in a very sanctified room. At that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya lived on the southern side of the Jagannath temple. His home was practically on the beach and was known as Markandeya Saraswata. At present it is used as the monastery of Ganga Mata. Shvasa prasvasa nahi udara spandan dikiya chintita hoila Bhattacharya Raman. Examining the body of Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma saw that his abdomen was not moving and that he was not breathing. Seeing his condition, the Bhattacharya became very anxious. Shukshma tulani nasha agrete darila isha chalaye tula dekidarya hoila. The Bhattacharya then took a fine cotton swab and put it before the Lord's nostrils. When he saw the cotton move very slightly, he became hopeful. Basi Bhattacharya mane korana bichar e Krishna mahapremera satvika bikar. Sitting beside Mahaprabhu, he thought, this is a transcendental ecstatic transformation brought about by love of Krishna, brought about by Krishna prema. Sudipta satvika namaje praloy nitya siddha bhakti se sudipta bhavahoy. Upon seeing the sign of Sudipta Sattvika, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could immediately understand the transcendental ecstatic transformation in the body of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such a sign takes place only in the bodies of eternally liberated devotees. The word Sudipta Sattvika is explained in the following way by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu mentions 8 kinds of transcendental transformations in the bodies of advanced devotees. These are sometimes checked by the devotee, and there are 2 stages of such checking, known technically as Dumayita and Jwalita. The Dumayita smoking stage is exhibited when only 1 or 2 transformations are slightly present, and it is possible to conceal them. When more than 2 or 3 transcendental transformations are manifest, and it is still possible to conceal them, although with great difficulty, that stage is called Jwalita, lighted. When 4 or 5 symptoms are exhibited, the Deepta, blazing stage has been reached. When 5, 6, or all 8 symptoms are simultaneously manifest, That position is called udipta, inflamed. And when all 8 symptoms are multiplied 1,000 times and are all visible at once, the devotee is in the sudipta, intensely inflamed stage. Nitya Siddha Bhakta indicates the eternally liberated associates of the Lord. Such devotees enjoy the company of the Lord in 4 relationships, as servant, friend, parent, or conjugal lover. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya can recognize in Mahaprabhu the most advanced stage of called Sudipta Sattvika. Sudipta defined as intensely inflamed stage, when all the transcendental symptoms are simultaneously manifest and they can't be concealed. They're fully developed, and that only happens in the case of Nitya Siddha Bhaktas, of eternally liberated souls. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, this time he doesn't know who Mahaprabhu is, and he himself is not a devotee, but he can recognize that Mahaprabhu is showing a Sudipta Sattvika stage, and it only can be seen among very advanced liberated devotees. Adiruda Bhavajara Tara Ebikar Manushara Dehe Deki Bora Chamatkar. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya considered the uncommon ecstatic symptoms of Adiruda Bhava are appearing in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very wonderful. How are they possible in the body of a human being? Etta Chinti Bhattacharya Chena Basya Nityanandadi Simadware Mililasya. When the Bhattacharya was thinking in that, very good. Eta Chinti Bhattacharya Chenabasya Nityanandadi Simadware Mililasya. Well, the Bhattacharya was thinking in this way at his home. All the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Nityananda Prabhu, approached the Simadwar, the entrance door of the temple. So the devotees, when Mahaprabhu said he went, because he was upset with Nityananda Prabhu breaking the danda, Mahaprabhu said he would not travel with the devotees, so they traveled after him. There was some distance, not a great distance, but some distance left to get to the temple of Jagannath. Mahaprabhu arrived first, and the devotees came afterwards. Now Mahaprabhu has been taken to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Nityananda Prabhu and the devotees have arrived at the Jagannath temple. Tahashuni loke kohe anyonye bat ek sannyasi asideki Jagannath. Tahashuni loke kohe anyonye bat ek sannyasi asideki Jagannath. Thus the devotees heard the story. Thus the devotees heard the people talking about a mendicant, about a sannyasi who had come to Jagannath Puri and seen the deity of Jagannath. They're talking about a sannyasi who had come to the Jagannath temple and seen Jagannath. Murchita hoila chaitanya hoi sharire sarvabhauma loya gela apanaragare. The people said that the sannyasi had fallen unconscious upon seeing the deity of Lord Jagannath. Because his consciousness did not return, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had taken him to his home. Shuni sabi janila e Mahaprabhu karya hinakali ailataha Gopinathacharya. Hearing this, the devotees could understand that they were speaking of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just then, Sri Gopinathacharya arrived. Nariyan nivase visharadera jamata Mahaprabhu bhaktateho Prabhu tattvagyata. Gopinathacharya was a resident of Nadia, the son-in-law of Visharada and a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He knew the true identity of his lordship. Mahesh Visharada was a classmate of Nilambar Chakravarti. He lived in the Nadia district in a village called Vidyanagar and had two sons named Madhusudana Vachaspati and Vasudeva Sarvabhauma, his son-in-law. His son-in-law was Gopinath Acharya. So we go to Vidyanagar on the fourth day of, on the fourth day of the parikrama, we go to Vidyanagar, and then we proceed on to Mamgachi as the final destination. And we go to the place where is the house of of Vasudeva Sarvabhauma. Behind that temple, there's a Gaudiya Mat temple. So Gopinath Acharya is from Nadia, and he's the son-in-law of Visharada, which means that Gopinath Acharya's sister is married to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Is that correct? Yeah. His son-in-law, so anyway. He has a relationship with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. I believe he's the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Mukunda Sahita Purve Ache Parichay, Mukunda Dekiyatara, Hoila Vishmai. Gopinath Acharya had previously been acquainted with Mukunda Datta, and when the Acharya saw him at Jagannath Puri, he was very much astonished. So Mukunda Datta is traveling with the Mahaprabhu and the devotees, and Gopinath Acharya knows Mukunda Datta. Mukunda tahare deki koila namaskar, teho lingya puche prabhara samachar. Mukunda Datta offered obeisances unto Gopinath Acharya upon meeting him. Then the Acharya embraced Mukunda Datta and inquired about news of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mukunda kohe prabhura ihan hoila agamane amisab asijachi Mahaprabhur sane. Mukunda Datta replied, the Lord has already arrived here. We have come with him. Nityananda Gosai ke Acharya koila namaskar sabimeli puche prabhur charta bar bar. As soon as Gopinath Acharya saw Nityananda Prabhu, he offered his obeisances unto him. In this way, meeting all the devotees, he asked about news of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. Mukunda kohe Mahaprabhu sanyas korea nilachali ailasangi amasabloya. Mukunda Datta continued. After accepting the sannyas order, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Jagannath Puri and has brought all of us with him. Amasab Chadiage Geladarshane, Amisab Pache Island Tara Anbeshane. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left our company and walked ahead to see Lord Jagannath. We have just arrived and are now looking for him. Anjonye Lokeramuke J Katashunila Sarvabhauma Grihe Prabhu Anumana Koila. From the talk of the people in general, we have guessed that the Lord is now at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Ishwara Darshane Prabhu Premeya Chetan Sarvabhauma Loyagela Apana Pavan. Upon seeing Lord Jagannath, Mahaprabhu became ecstatic and fell unconscious, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has taken him to his home in this condition. Tumara milane jabe amar hoilaman davise kane pailun tomara darshan. Just as I was thinking of meeting you by chance, we have actually met. Chala Sabi Jai Sarvabhauma Bhavan Prabhu Deki Pachik Koriba Ishwara Darshan. First, let us go to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, we shall come to see Lord Jagannath. So, this is Mukunda Datta, and he's speaking to Gopinath Acharya. First, let us go to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later, we shall come to see Lord Jagannath. Etashuni Gopinatha Sabare Loya Sarvabhauma Garigela Harashita Haya. Hearing this and feeling very pleased, Gopinath Acharya immediately took all the devotees with him and approached the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Stanagiya Prabhu Ke Dekila Prabhu Dekiya Charjera Duka Harsha Hoila. Arriving at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, everyone saw the Lord lying unconscious. Gopinath Acharya became very unhappy to see him in this condition, but at the same time he was happy just to see the Lord. Sarvabhauma Janaya Sabha Nila Abhyantare Nityananda Gosaire Teho Ahila Namaskare. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya permitted all the devotees to enter his house, and upon seeing Nityananda Prabhu, the Bhattacharya offered him obeisances. Sabha Sahita Jata Jogya Korila Milan Prabhu Dekis Sabar Hoila Harashitaman. Sarvabhauma met with all the devotees and offered them a proper welcome. They were all pleased to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Patailas Sabha Darshana Korite Chandaneshwara Nijaputra Dila Sabar Sate. The Bhattacharya then sent them all back to see Lord Jagannath, and he asked his own The Bhattacharya then sent them all back to see Lord Jagannath, and he asked his own son, Chandaneshwara, to accompany them as a guide. Jagannath Deki Sabar Hoila Nanda Babete Abhishta Hoila Prabhu Nityananda. Everyone was then very pleased to see the deity of Lord Jagannath. Lord Nityananda in particular was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Sabe melidare tare shushtira korila ishwara sevaka mala prashana anidila. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu nearly fainted, all the devotees caught him and steadied him. At that time, the priest of Lord Jagannath brought a garland that had been offered to the deity and offered it to Nityananda Prabhu. Prasada Paya Sabe Hoila Nandita Mane Punarapi Aila Sabe Mahaprabhu Stane. Everyone was pleased to receive this garland worn by Lord Jagannath. Afterwards, they all returned to the place where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying. They all returned to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's place where Mahaprabhu was brought. Uchakore kore sabe nama sankirtan tritiya prahare hoila prabhura chaitan. All the devotees then began to loudly chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Just before noon, the Lord regained his consciousness. They all did Nam Sankirtan, and Mahaprabhu, just before noon, came to external consciousness. Hunkara Koriya Ute Hari Hari Boli Anande Sarvabhauma Tara Loila Paraduli. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and very loudly chanted, Hari Hari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very pleased to see the Lord regain consciousness, and he took the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. Sarvabhauma Kohe Shigra Koraha Madhyana Mui Bika Dhimu Aji Mahaprasadana. The Bhattacharya informed all of them, please take your midday baths immediately. Today I shall offer you Mahaprasadam, the remnants of food offered to Lord Jagannath. Samudra Snan Kore Mahaprabhu Shigraila Chanana Pakali Prabhu Ashane Basila. After bathing in the sea, Mahaprabhu and his devotees returned very soon. The Lord then washed his feet and sat down on a carpet to take lunch. Well, here it says it's translated as sat down on a carpet. It means Mahaprabhu was given an asan to sit on. Bahuta prashada sarvabhauma anaila tabe Mahaprabhu suke bhojana korila. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya made arrangements to bring various kinds of Mahaprasadam from the Jagannath temple. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then accepted lunch with great happiness. Sarvabhauma talira ana uttama bhyanjan bhaktigana sange prabhu korana bhojan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was offered special rice and first-class vegetables on golden plates. He thus took lunch in the company of his devotees. Sarvabhauma pariveshan koranapane prabhu kohe more deho lafara vyanjane. While Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya personally distributed the prasadam, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested him, please give me only boiled vegetables. No, Mahaprabhu is asking, you just give me lafra vyanjan, you just give me. ¿No le gustaba?
Al principio, ahora a mí me gusta, pero en ese tiempo cuando recién llegamos, pues a nadie le gustaba eso masticar y encontrar eso.
¿Y qué tenía dentro? ¿Qué era?
No, pues acá tiene las raíces esas, tiene como de los vegetales. Ellos cortan, por ejemplo, el tronco del coliflor, tronco del brócoli. Hay unas cosas que son duras que uno mastica y eso queda como caña de azúcar y uno tiene que sacar.
So what Puri Maharaj is saying is that in general the devotees, the Western devotees especially, didn't like lafra. It consisted of many boiled roots of vegetables, stems even of cauliflower, and sometimes things that had to be chewed and the stalk taken out like as if it was sugar, the stalk of sugar cane, but of course without the sweetness. So just simple. I've had also lafra, and what I had was also just some different kinds of vegetables cooked together. So Mahaprabhu asked for just the most simple he just asked for lafra, but here it says lafra vyanjana is a preparation in which many vegetables are boiled together and then a chance, like a changa or chance is added, consisting of spices like cumin, black pepper, and mustard seed. Pita pana dehatumi iha sabakare tabe Bhattacharya kohe judi duikore. You can offer the other preparation, cakes and preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. Hearing this, the Bhattacharya folded his hands and spoke as follows. So even Mahaprabhu said you can give pita pana to the other devotees. Pita pana consists of like a drink and then some kind of like a roti type preparation.
This is el Madhya-lila.
Yeah.
¿Qué capítulo es?
6.
Capítulo 6.
Yeah.
¿Qué texto es?
44 estoy leyendo ahora. So Mahaprabhu asked just for lafra. Hearing this, the Bhattacharya folded his hands and spoke as follows. Jagannath kaiche kori jachana bhojan Ajisab Mahaprasada Kora Ashwadan. Today, all of you, please try to taste the lunch just as Lord Jagannath accepted it. So Mahaprabhu just wants some boiled vegetables. He doesn't want to take anything more than that. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, with folded hands, requests him, you just please, I'll distribute the prasad, you just try to take what Lord Jagannath took. And in other words, Mahaprabhu is a Virakta sannyasi. He's extremely renounced sannyasi. And he doesn't want to really take anything at all except the most simple boiled vegetables. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Mahaprabhu, you're here, I'm distributing Jagannath Prasad. Please just, we will just give you Jagannath Prasad, but please try to respect what. Many times Mahaprabhu asks that the devotees will give him very simple things to eat, but like in the house of also, before Mahaprabhu came to Puri, in the house of Advaitacharya, Mahaprabhu, when the devotees came for him when he reached the Ganga, he thought he was in Vrindavan. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, not Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Advaitacharya, knowing the mentality of the Lord, said, you please come to my house. There are only some very simple vegetables, are just boiled vegetables like lafra is there. So you don't, but when Mahaprabhu got there, it was very opulent prasadam that was given to him. So the devotees, they want Mahaprabhu to give him Mahaprasad and so many different kinds. Mahaprabhu asked to take just boiled vegetables, but by some trick or another, the devotees try to give Mahaprabhu.
Like yesterday was here.
Huh?
Like yesterday, the morning, something was here.
Today, all of you tried to taste the lunch just as Lord Jagannath accepted it. Etaboli pitapana saba kaojaila bikakaraya achamana koraila. After saying this, he made them all eat the various cakes and condensed milk preparations. Pitapana is something that's specially made in Orissa. It's a drink with some also kind of bread. Like. After saying this, he made them all eat the various cakes and condensed milk preparations, which means they were all given pitapana. After feeding them, he offered them water to wash their hands, feet, and mouth. Wash their hands, feet, and mouth. Agyamagigela gopinatha charjakelaya prabhura nikata aila bhojana korinya. Begging permission from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, then went with Gopinath Acharya to take lunch. After finishing their lunch, they returned to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's also, we know when someone is in another person's house, the other person will feed them first, and then after he feeds them, he will himself take prasadam. That is usually how it's done, especially with devotees coming to one's house. They're fed first and then one takes afterwards. Namo Narayananya, Namo Narayanaya, Boli Namaskar Koila, Krishna Matir Astu Boli Gosai Kohila. Offering his obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Namo Narayanaya. I offer my obeisances to Narayan. In return, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, Krishna Matir Astu. Let your attention be on Krishna. So it's common among impersonalists. They will refer to Namo Narayanaya. They will. And it is the etiquette among sannyasis, those on the fourth platform of spiritual life, to offer respect by saying Om Namo Narayanaya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Narayan. This greeting is used especially by Mayavadi sannyasis. According to the Smriti scriptures, a sannyasi should not expect anything from anyone, nor should he consider himself identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vaishnava sannyasis never think of themselves as being one with the Lord. They always consider themselves eternal servants of the Lord, and they want to see everyone in the world become Krishna conscious. For this reason, a Vaishnava sannyasi always offers his blessings to everyone, saying, Krishna Matirastu. May you become Krishna consciousness. May you become Krishna conscious. Krishna Matirastu. May your mind be on Krishna. Shuni Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Korila Vaishnava Sannyasi Iho Janila. Hearing these words, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood Lord Chaitanya to be a Vaishnava sannyasi. Gopinatha Charjare Kohi Sarvabhauma Gosaira Janite Chahi Kahan Purvashrama. Sarvabhauma then said to Gopinathacharya, I want to know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's previous situation. Gopinathacharya Kohe Navadipegar Jagannath Nama Padabi Mishra Purandar. Gopinathacharya replied, there was a person named Jagannath who was a resident, there was a man named Jagannath who was a resident of Navadip and whose surname was Mishra Purandar. Vishvambara Nama Ihar Tara Ihoputra Nilambara Chakrabartir Hoyana Dohitra. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the son of that Jagannath Mishra, and his former name was Vishvambar Mishra. He also happens to be the grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti. Sarvabhauma Kohe Nilambar Chakravarti Visharader Samadhyayi Etarakyati. The Bhattacharya said, Nilambar Chakravarti was a classmate of my father, Maheshwara Visharad. I knew him as such. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, oh, Nilambar Chakravarti, who's Mahaprabhu's grandfather, he was known by my father, Maheshwara Visharad. They were classmates. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya knows of the family of Mahaprabhu. Before he didn't, and he asked, where's Mahaprabhu from? And he's told he's from Navadip, and because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is from, very nearby. He's from, what is the name? No, before Mamgachi. It's, I know every time I'm forgetting, I know the name. I just said it a few minutes ago, but Vidyanagar. He's from Vidyanagar. Vidyanagar is so close to where you're saying Mamgachi. It's like a 40-minute walk, 30-minute walk, 40 minutes. They're very near together. But also because he's from Vidyanagar, Vidyanagar is very close to Navadip. Then he knows Mahaprabhu's family. His father knew Nilambar Chakravarti very well. Mishra Purandara Taram Manya Henajani Pitara Sambande Dohake Puja Korimani. Jagannath Mishra Purandar was respected by my father. Thus, because of the relationship with my father, I respect both Jagannath Mishra and Nilambar Chakravarti. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also respects Jagannath Mishra. He knows that Jagannath Mishra is actually the son-in-law of Nilambar Chakravarti. I believe Nilambar Chakravarti is Mahaprabhu's grandfather on his mother's side. Nadiya Sambandhe Sarvabhauma Rishta Hoila Prita Hoya Gosaire Kohite Lagila. Hearing that Mahaprabhu belonged to the Nadia district, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very pleased and addressed the Lord as follows, because he's also from the Nadia. He's also from the Nadia district. Sahaje puja tumi arata sanyas ateva aitomar aminejadas. You are naturally respectable. Besides, you are a sannyasi. Thus, I wish to become your personal servant. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, of course, is older than Mahaprabhu, and he says, you're a sannyasi, and you're from a very, very respectable place and family, so please let me serve you. Shuni Mahaprabhu Koila Sri Vishnu Smaran Bhattacharya Kohikachu Vinoy Machan. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this from the Bhattacharya, he immediately remembered Lord Vishnu and began to speak humbly to him as follows. So Mahaprabhu is remembering Vishnu. Mahaprabhu often thinks of Vishnu, or this is his way of saying, I'm not worthy of this respect. Mahaprabhu is thinking that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, wanting to serve Mahaprabhu personally, that, for Mahaprabhu he's thinking, this is an offense on my part. This is an offense on my part. I should not be taking service from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He's older than me and he's respectable. Tumi Jagat Guru Sarva Loka Hitakarta Vedanta Padao Sanyasiru Upakarta. Because you are a teacher of Vedanta philosophy, you are the master of all the people in the world and their well-wisher as well. You are also the benefactor of all kinds of sannyasis. So Mahaprabhu says, expresses that he doesn't want to take this service from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He says that you're a Jagat Guru and you're actually who the sannyasis should offer respects to. And Mahaprabhu expresses his humility in that way. Ami balak sannyasi manda nahi jani. Ami balak sannyasi bandhana nahi jani tomara ashraya nilun guru korimani. I'm a young sannyasi and I actually have no knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Therefore I'm taking shelter of you and accepting you as my spiritual master. Mahaprabhu says, I am respecting you as my son, as my guru, because you are knowledgeable and you're able to help me. Tomara sangalagi mora ihanagaman sarva prakari korive amai palana. I've come here only to associate with you, and I am now taking shelter of you. Will you kindly maintain me in all respects? Ajije hoila mara bore e vipati tahaite koile tumi amara abhyahati. The incident that happened today was a great obstacle for me, but you have kindly relieved me of it. Mahaprabhu is saying, and his fainting and being unconscious for so long, he says this was a great obstacle for me, but you brought me here, so you helped me so much. Mahaprabhu refers to his ecstatic symptoms of love of Godhead. This is a great obstacle for me. Bhattacharya kohe ekale tumina jaya darshane amara sange jabe kimwa amara lokasane. The Bhattacharya replied, do not go alone to see the deity at the Jagannath temple. It is better that you go with me or my men. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, don't go anymore alone to see the deity, you should be accompanied. Prabhu kohe mandira bitarina jaiba karudera pashiro he darshana koriba. The Lord said, I shall never enter the temple, but shall always view the Lord from the side of the Garuda Stamba. Mahaprabhu would, when he would go to the temple of Lord Jagannath in the future, he would always be by the Garuda Stamba, a little distant from the deity. Gobinatha charjake kohe sarvabhauma tumi gosaire loha koraya darshana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then told Gopinathacharya, take Goswamiji and show him Lord Jagannath. Take him for darshan of the deity. And Prabhupada's translation is very nice. He says, take Goswamiji and show him Lord Jagannath. Ji is a term of respect. You can put it on a person's name, like Goswamiji, Maharajji, Amara Matre Swasa Griha Nirjanstan Tahavasha Dehokora Sarva Samadan. Also, the apartment belonging to my maternal aunt is a very solitary place. Make all arrangements for him to stay there. Gobinatha Prabhu Laha Tahan Vashadila Jala Jala Patradika Sarva Samadana Koila. Thus, Gopinathacharya took Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his residential quarters and showed him where to find water, tubs, and water pots. Indeed, he arranged everything. Aradin Gopinath Prabhu Stanigiya Shayotana Darshana Korailaloya. The next day, Gopinathacharya took Mahaprabhu to see the early rising of Lord Jagannath. Makunda Datta Loyaila Sarvabhauma Stane Sarvabhauma Kichutare Molila Bachane. Gopinathacharya then took Makunda Datta with him and went to Sarvabhauma's house. When they arrived, Sarvabhauma addressed Makunda Datta as follows. Prakriti Vinita Sannyasi Dekite Sundar Amarabahu Priti Bore Iharupar. The sannyasi is very meek and humble by nature, and his person is very beautiful to see. Consequently, my affection for him increases. So Sarvabhauma says he's very attached to Mahaprabhu, who is such a meek and gentle person, humble by nature, and very beautiful. So Sarvabhauma considered Mahaprabhu a very humble and meek person because although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, he still retained his brahmachari name. The Lord took sannyas from Kesha Bharati in the Bharati Sampradaya, in which the brahmacharis, the assistants of the sannyasis, are called Chaitanya. Even after accepting sannyas, Mahaprabhu retained the name Chaitanya, meaning a humble servant of a sannyasi. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya appreciated this very much, that Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, but he still kept the name, brahmachari name of Chaitanya. Kon sampradaye sannyas karyachana grahan kibanama ihara shunite hoiman. From which sampradaya has he accepted the sannyas order, and what is his name? Gopinath Gohe Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Guru Ihara Kesha Bharati Mahadanya. Gopinathacharya replied, the Lord's name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and his sannyas preceptor is the greatly fortunate Kesha Bharati. So he is, Gopinathacharya replies, and now Sarvabhauma knows that Mahaprabhu has accepted sannyas from Kesha Bharati in that line. Sarvabhauma kohe iharanama sarvutam bharati sampradayiho hoyana madhyama. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Shri Krishna is a very good name, but he belongs to the Bharati community. Therefore, he is a second-class sannyasi. So, then among the Mayavadis, there's very much of this idea of pecking order. Who's a high? What is a high sampradaya? What's a low medium sampradaya? What is the lower sampradaya? So he's saying, oh, Mahaprabhu took sannyas in the Bharati sampradaya. That is not such a high sampradaya. So then, Gopinath kohe ihara nahi bhaya peka ateva bora sampradayera nahika peka. Gopinathacharya replied, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not rely on any external formality. There is no need for him to accept a sannyas order from a superior sampradaya. So Gopinathacharya says, you're speaking of him being in a lower category of sannyasis, but Mahaprabhu, he doesn't rely on any of these external formalities. There's no need for him to accept sannyas in a high sampradaya. He is always in the supreme position. Bhattacharya kohe ihara prodas jovana kemate sannyasa dharma hoibe rakana. The Bhattacharya inquired, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in his full-fledged youthful life. How can he keep the principles of sannyas? So this is a consideration. Mahaprabhu is taking sannyas when he's 24. He's very young to be taking sannyas. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying, how? Most sannyasis are old. How will he continue if he's such a young sannyasi? How will he be how will he be able, and he's very beautiful, how will he be able to maintain his vows? Because so many temptations will come to a young sannyasi. Nirantara ihake vidanda shunaiba vairagya advaita marge pravesha koraiba. I shall continuously recite Vedanta philosophy before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that he may remain fixed in his renunciation and thus enter upon the path of monism. So he'll become a good, as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, he will instruct Mahaprabhu in Vedanta so that he will become very established in this philosophy that all is one, everything, that he will become advanced in the Shankaracharya philosophy. Because that's really what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wishes to instruct Mahaprabhu in Shankaracharya and the Sharirag Bhashya Shankaracharya philosophy. Kohena jadi punarapi jogya patadiya samskara koriye utama sampradaya aniya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then suggested, if Mahaprabhu would like, I could bring him into a first-class sampradaya by offering him saffron cloth and performing the reformatory process again. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is thinking, oh, Mahaprabhu, he still has his brahmachari name, he's in the Bharati sampradaya, but I could arrange for him to become into a sannyas, a good sannyas. I can update him. The Bhattacharya wanted to reinstate, that means update, he wanted to reinstate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into the Saraswati Sampradaya, because he did not like the lords belonging to the Bharati Sampradaya or Puri Sampradaya. Actually, he did not know the position of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not depend on an inferior or superior sampradaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead remains in the supreme position in all circumstances. Shuni Gopinatha Mukunda Duhe Duki Hoila Gopinatha Charya Kechuko Hite Lagila. So as we said before, originally in this time, there's 10 sannyas names. 10 sannyas, like such as Ashram, Bhavan, so many like this. So the later Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for the Vaishnava sannyasis, for the Tridandi sannyasis, he added 98 more, so that I believe there's 108 sannyas names. Shuni Gopinatha Makunda Duhe Duki Hoila Gopinatha Chari Kichu Kohite Lagila. Sarvabhauma then suggested, if Mahaprabhu would like, I could bring him into a first-class sampradaya by offering him saffron cloth and performing the reformatory process again. And now he continues, Gopinath, here it says, Shuni Gopinath Makunda Duhe Duke Hoila Gopinath Acharya Kichu Kohite Lagila. Gopinath Acharya and Mukunda Datta became very unhappy when they heard this. Gopinath Acharya therefore addressed Sarvabhauma as follows. Bhattacharya tumi ihar najana mahima bhagavata lakanera ihate sima. My dear Bhattacharya, you do not know the greatness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of God are found in him to the highest degree. Tahate vikyate iho paramaishwar agyastane kechunahi vigyara gochar. Gopinath Acharya continued, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is celebrated as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are ignorant in this connection find the conclusion of knowledgeable men very difficult to understand. He's the Lord himself, but you cannot understand. That is basically what Gopinath Acharya is saying. Sishyagana ko he Ishwara ko kahakon pramane Acharya ko he vigyamata Ishwara lakane. The disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya retaliated. By what evidence do you conclude that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord? Gopinath Acharya replied, the statements of authorized acharyas who understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are proof. So Gopinath Acharya says, there is scriptural proof that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Sishyakohe Ishwara Tattvan Sadi Anumane Acharya Kohe Anumane Nahi Ishwara Gyane. The disciples of the Bhattacharya said, we derive knowledge of the absolute truth by logical hypothesis. By Anumane, by deduction. Gopinath Acharya replied, one cannot attain real knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such logical hypothesis and argument. So it's all, Mayavadis base so much of their fallacious conclusions on logic and deduction from that logic. So they arrive at conclusions based on logic and deduction, which is not really suitable way of knowing the Lord. Anuman pramananahi ishwara tattvagyane kripabhina ishwarere keho nahi jane. Gopinath Acharya continued, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by his mercy, not by guesswork or hypothesis. Ishwarera kripalesha hoy tajahare seta ishwara tattva janibare pure. The Acharya continued, if one Gopinathacharya is saying, if one receives but a tiny bit of the Lord's favor by dint of devotional service, he can understand the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Gopinathacharya is saying, one can understand the Lord only if one receives the mercy of the Lord. Only by the Lord's mercy can one know him. Atapite deva parambuja dvaya prashadad leshanu grihite vahi janati tattva bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko pichiram vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate in order to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Gopinathacharya says, if you just receive a little of the Lord's mercy, then he can be understood. Otherwise, you can study the Vedanta for many years, but you won't know the Lord. Jajapi Jagat Guru Tumi Shastra Gyanavan Prativite Nahi Pandita Tomara Saman Ishwarayara Kripalesha Nahika Tomate Ateva Ishwara Tattva Naparajanite. Gopinathacharya then addressed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. You are a great scholar and a teacher of many disciples. Indeed, there is no other scholar like you on earth. Nonetheless, because you are bereft of even a pinch of the Lord's mercy, you cannot understand him, even though he is present in your home. So I'm going to stop here. This conversation is very, very nice, because Gopinathacharya is saying, you can't understand who Mahaprabhu is, because only one who has received the mercy of the Lord can understand him. Then Sarvabhauma we'll hear on our next reading. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, well, what is the evidence that you have received the mercy of the Lord and not myself? And then Gopinathacharya says, because I can understand who Mahaprabhu is and you can't. That's the evidence. So this is... I can know the Lord, but you cannot. This is just a simple way of knowing that you have not received the mercy of the Lord, because even though he's in your home for so many hours in trance, you couldn't recognize him. So, now we'll sing Hari Haraya. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatham Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanata Bhatta Raguna Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Ite Vignana Shabista Puran Echai Gosai Jar Mui Taranas Dasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abilas Echai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudas Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudas Did you sing Kantaste Hari Vasari Giti? Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. I like this chapter very much. The liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is so nice.
A mí me encanta, yo siempre lo cito eso. Pues, sí. Guru Maharaj dice, se rumoraba que él era el hijo preferido de Saraswat, ¿no? Tan versado, tan erudito, pero eso no era suficiente. Él era tan versado, tan erudito. Guru Maharaj dice, él era Bhattacharya. Un guru tiene un conocimiento amplio, el acharya tiene un conocimiento mucho más amplio, pero él era Bhattacharya, hacedor de acharyas.
Yes, Mahaprabhu, Sripad Bhakti Bandhava Puri Maharaj is saying in Spanish that this chapter is, that he also very much likes this chapter, and you said it was very much liked by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur?
Guru Maharaj.
By Guru Maharaj. That it was very much liked by Srila Maharaj, and that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is so learned. He's not just an acharya, he's Bhattacharya. He's like the guru of the gurus. So, and he himself shows that he wants to instruct Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His learning, although he's an impersonalist, but his learning is like that of Brihaspati. He's very learned. Anyway, Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parvajaka Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parvajaka Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sunanda Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsi Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavarenya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Ram Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Kuladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan. Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Akadasi Upavas Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Bandhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.